Good evening once again. Toastmaster Rahul is doing his first project, CC1, Icebreaker. His objectives are to begin speaking before an audience, to discover speaking skills you already have and skills that you need some attention. Time 4 to 6 minutes. All the best.
Thank you. Title, glass is half empty, but my head is full empty. May I invite Toastmaster Rahul Rajan.
बीड़ी जलाइले जिगर से पिया जिगर में बड़ी आग है heartache, acidity, exactly those feelings which my dad had on 25th of April 1983, few minutes before I was born. Where I am from in UK, yes UK, United Kerala, we address dad as Acha and Amma for mom. My Achan's name is Rajan Patteri, my Amma is Krishna MP. Oh no, not the Member of Parliament, it is Mannan Patlayan, tongue twister syllables of my mother tongue Malayalam, which is a palindrome. This reminds me of what the late, great Abraham Lincoln once said. All that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe it to my parents. Fellow Toastmasters, no guests, and my handsome evaluators, thank you for taking time to be here to address my icebreaker speech titled Hashtag Rahul Patteri, the glass is half empty. I've got a hypothesis and I believe, and I don't know how many of you will agree with me, the best way to break ice is to pour whiskey over it. Everybody was rejoicing the eve of my birth, except for my grandfather, my chacha, whom I lovingly address him. He was sad, gloomy. I'm an engineer by profession, and just as the cliche where people say that some are born to be leaders, some are born to be actors, I was destined to be an engineer. Please see the logic, this is how it goes. I was born a few weeks before the EDD, the expected date of delivery. So therefore, my whole birth process was effective, efficient and productive. These are some of the traits which an engineer usually relates to. My grandfather was sad. Why? Because the family Purohit, those days in UK we did not have a doctor, but our Purohit who had predicted that had I been born any time before the EDD, I would be negative. The whole world I would see as glass half empty. I was named Rahul, quite a popular name, not the Sunayuka, by my Achacha. Only later in agony I realized that the Upanishad meaning of Rahul is conqueror of miseries. I was given a negative name. I grew up here in a line with my Achan and Amma in a very small family. I did my schooling here before I was shipped to Kerala to do my further education. I was so negative, ladies and gentlemen, I was so negative that had I been in a dark room, I would begin to develop. And during this transition from the Middle East to Kerala, people talk about culture shock, whereas I had size shock. Friends in Chinmaya Vidyalaya Kannur, they were size 0, I was shape 0. They used to call me Da Tadiya, which means fat so. That was my nickname, my mojo. It made me even more negative. My wounds did not heal either. It made me even more negative that if I was in a dark room, I would have developed. Then, what happened? In months' time, I started seeing leaner. I started being one among them. I started becoming more thin. And how did this happen? Any guesses? It was the stale hostel food and diarrhea. The engineering genome in me took me further down south to Cochin University of Science and Technology, where I did my undergraduation. Coming from the Middle East, a guy who drove Royal Enfield and any other flashy bikes, who smoked and drank and was dark, I had exhausted any possibilities for having a girlfriend. But more interestingly, what happened? I opted safety and fire engineering, the course which is paramount in teaching its students on to look into the nuances, the weak links, the negatives in the chemical process. What better course to be in tandem with my negative basic instinct? Some of you must be thinking. I was then later recruited to the world's largest grassroots refinery called Reliance Refinery Jamnagar, where I served as a firefighter and also had some responsibility for training. I was so negative, ladies and gentlemen, that what happened, if I was in a dark room, I would begin to develop, and this happened in one of the training sessions like this, when I had senior managers, vice presidents of the refinery attending the session, I was representing the fire services department in Murphy's truck. I had no power, there was no projector, so therefore no hands out, I can't read anything. Everything that can go wrong to me that day went wrong. But what happened? I had preempted the situation, I knew this thing could happen, and then it went on quite smooth. Why? Because I'm a smooth operator. As a trainer, it is paramount. It is paramount because we have to go prepared for our speeches and we need to know who our audience is. Or else it is something like writing a love letter addressed to whomsoever it may concern. As a human being, as a person, I believe, and I strongly believe, that humor is no funny business. It is, however, a strong foothold to communicate, to connect without any conflicts. My life has made me to convince of one fact, that, can I have your undivided attention, ladies and gentlemen? Someone's opinion about yourself need not be your reality. As long as you have the courage, you are determined, and you have been hungry to keep all your negative things in one dark area of the room, irrespective of where you're born, where you be compared with someone or not, what your ethnic background is, what your IQ level is, what your color is, there is nothing that can stop you from developing. Over to you, Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you for your wonderful speech. Just like Shivaji Ganesan is acting in Vasanta Politics. Dance, action, thrill, suspense, joy, cry.
Celebration.
Really, you celebrated your first speech. Then we invent a timer to give the timer's report.